everyone? It's Roger and James here, Thunders Gaming. In this episode, we're going to be sharing what we know about Gamescom, which is coming up, and also our predictions for the show from like the Marvels and Star Wars and Disney side of things. So, first off, let's get the big one that we know is going to be there. Star Wars Battlefront. Star Wars Battlefront 2. They will be doing a brand new trailer reveal. August 21st is going to be a live stream showing off the Starfighter Assault mode at 5:30 British summertime, which pits two teams of your favourite Star Wars game changers against another in a multi-stage original trilogy era space battle, so aka YouTubers. So teams will face off in a swirling dogfight in the Fondor Imperial Star shipyard map, weaving around an Imperial Star Destroyer complete with speedy fighters, thundering bombers, distinct hero ships, and more. With the brave soldiers possible, with the brave pilots of the Rebel Alliance triumph against the Imperial Navy, or the Imperial aces of the Galactic Empire foil the insurgents' plan. The live stream will be your first glimpse of vastly improved starfighter combat and superior controls, deeper customization, and role-based team play featuring an all-new class-based system. And as I said, August 21st, 5:30 British summertime, so decent time for me. And yeah, there we go. And also then it goes into like pre-order spiel. So so that's the first big news that we know that's coming out there. So that looks quite cool.
Definitely going to be interesting. Obviously, the last couple of events, D23 and San Diego, focused on the single player, which was something we were both interested in, but obviously there are a lot of multiplayer gamers out there and they want to see what Battlefront 2 is going to bring to the table that Battlefront did not. Personally, I think we discussed this before, but the class-based system that they were talking about interests me. I'm definitely interested in the officer class. And as a huge X-Wing, TIE Fighter fan, obviously anything with space combat is exciting for me. I'm hoping that there will be a lot of it in the single player, but definitely cool that they're going to have it in the multiplayer too, in a much more expanded role than in Battlefront 1, because it was very disappointing in Battlefront 1. The question for me that I'm hoping they'll answer at Gamescom is, will we have class-based multiplayer battles in Starfighters as well? Obviously, it wouldn't be quite as distinct as, I'm a medic versus I'm a assault class or whatever, but like, will there be a major difference between, say, flying a Y-Wing versus flying an X-Wing?
Yeah.
Will there be, do we have to do bombing runs with the Y-Wing where your focus isn't necessarily to defeat the enemy starfighters, but actually to be like, let's blow up the shield generator on the Scarif or something like that? I was just thinking,
because you kind of had a little bit like that in the first game where, it sort of said, focus all your efforts on the AT-ATs or something. And at that point, you had to kind of, that was your primary objective. And if you messed it up, basically your team lost. I did remember at that point going, whoa, this is way too much pressure.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough fly over this. So, yes. But no, it's definitely, they've been showing off lots of images of the different classes of like the Wookiees, the droids, I think we're just going to continue to see this. This is where Gamescom kind of steps up as being the August showcase to kind of get stuff out there. Because obviously Gamescom is massive. I think it's 100,000 people go, loads of stuff on the floor. I'm very, very tempted at the fact of like, it's like, I'm there going, I wouldn't mind one day to go over, but because be a couple hour flight kind of thing for me. But
right.
Yeah, it's kind of like I would almost say it's like the second biggest event of the year after E3.
I'm not sure if it's the second biggest. You could probably argue that San Diego takes that spot, even though it's more of a focus on movies. It's definitely a huge focus on video games, but it's definitely a contender. Top 3, top 5 for sure. Yeah, and it's closer to the Christmas release window than pretty much any of the other games are, which makes it one of the most important. This will be the last major push that Battlefront 2 gets before moving towards release.
Because you got like New York Comic-Con, and I think there might be a few like PAX or something like that in between that. But yeah,
I think New York Comic-Con is still a sore spot for Disney Infinity fans with the whole non-announcement. But yeah, there is of course New York Comic-Con, but unlike
Yes.
San Diego Comic-Con, it actually does focus on comic books.
Yeah, I think with the thing with this with the style, I mean, any good new gameplay and stuff, I think it's cool, and I think revving up for that reveal. This one's gonna, to me, it feels like it's gonna be the one. I'm sure EA are gonna be there. It's gonna be on hand. People are gonna be playing it. People are gonna be testing it out. We're gonna see loads of new gameplay and stuff coming out, and I'm sure all those game changers are gonna be having content to upload. So people like Star Wars Battlefront updates, definitely ones sort of to be checking out with that. But yeah, definitely looking pretty good from the Star Wars point of view. Looking over there, we know Ghost Rider, the gameplay is going to be revealed for him for Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite. So whether or not they throw in some more characters, a new reveal of a trailer, because that game is, we're about a month off now. There still feels like there's a lot of information to get out about that. It kind of, the roster's still, I mean, they got revealed via a comic book, along with a couple of other characters, but it wouldn't surprise me if we saw a little bit more, maybe some reveal of DOC or something like that. I don't know. The fact that it's a month away from release is, because it's a real odd game, this one. This one's like really kind of splitting the audience. There's a lot of people, there's a lot of just general like, yeah, I didn't like the story, or there's no X-Men. I don't personally, if the game doesn't have X-Men, that's not the end of the world for me, but that's, so it should be, I'm hoping we'll see a proper trailer and a lot more information coming out about that one.
I would be surprised if Ghost Rider was the only thing that they really talked about at the event for Marvel vs. Capcom. I suspect that they will either announce 3 more characters, making it maybe 2 more Marvel, 2 more Capcom characters, including Ghost Rider, or, as you alluded to, maybe plans for the DLC. They won't announce the characters that will be DLC, but maybe like, you get the season pass for the first year, which we will guarantee will get you 8 more characters, 4 Marvel, 4 Capcom, something like that. There will be additional information because, as you said, it's right around the corner. The buzz on this game is almost non-existent at this point. For a game this close to release, the buzz should be like through the roof. People should be hyped as heck for this game, and they're not. So they have to come out to Gamescom with something huge. This is their last chance to really sell it to people.
But then I feel like because this is going to be a game service, it's going to be constantly updated, constantly tweaked, and it will be able to, look at Street Fighter V, awful launch, but it's still been making news 2 years later with new content and stuff. So I don't know. I think there's going to be a lot more reveals. And I think it wouldn't even surprise me if there's a new demo, kind of just something just to kind of update from what we saw from that story mode. Because it was funny, because I played the story mode and was like, yay, okay, this seems quite fun. I quite enjoyed this. It seemed reasonably easy, so I was quite happy. Because the rest of the world was like, no, this is awful. And I'm like, did I play the same game as everybody else?
I thought it was okay.
Yeah.
It didn't really grab me. I felt like the Capcom characters were kind of out of place in it.
Yeah.
We talked about it at another point, so I'm not going to go into depth. But, there is a big difference between this and Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V was a Capcom property, and Capcom could stand behind it as much as they want. If this has a bad launch, we've seen Disney pull the plug on games that have launched poorly. For instance, Avengers Alliance 2, like that. Immediately, no chance to really build up. I think this one's got a bit more leeway because it's a major release. It's got a franchise behind it. It's historical. But if it doesn't have a strong launch, and if, sales don't pick up towards Christmas when prices will start to come down as people try to get last-minute presents, it needs to prove that it needs to exist before the DLC starts coming out.
Yeah, I still think it's going to be a big. I think it's going to be a big hit, and I think once people start getting their hands on it, I think it's going to be a big one. Flipping over now to Lego Marvel Superheroes 2. I'm expecting a new trailer, new reveal of characters. I don't remember them revealing anything about that they've officially said they're going to be there. I'm expecting them to be there. It's it's going to be the last big stop, and also the TT games are based in UK, so it's only in an hour or two's flight, so it's a lot easier for the team to get to.
Well, I mean, how are they going to announce another Spider-Man costume for the game if they're not there? Yeah, they haven't officially announced anything, but I would be very surprised if they didn't have a presence at the very least. They might not have anything new because at this point the game's so close, and it's either you're going to get it or you're not at this point, which I know is like the exact opposite of what we're talking about with Battlefront and Marvel versus Capcom. It's like they need to hype it up, whereas Lego Marvel Superheroes, on the other hand, it's kind of like you don't really need to hype it. The people who are going to buy it are going to buy it, and people who are still on the fence about a Legos game, you're not going to change their mind at this point. But they've got a roster of 200 something characters. It wouldn't surprise me if they just popped in, hey, we've got Darkhawk in the game, or we've got Corvus, or Corvus Glaive, one of Thanos's minions who they announced will be in Infinity War, that kind of thing. But yeah, it's not going to have a huge presence.
No, it's definitely going to be interesting to see what they. I think that's clear. I'm not expecting any Kingdom Hearts news at all at this event. Not seeing anything from that. I don't even know. It's that thing as well of we've got the new Guardians of the Galaxy Telltale game coming out that week. It's coming out next week, so whether or not we see a little bit more of an update on that, personally, I feel like they are now pushing Batman and their other games, and sort of mark that one's kind of out the gate, and even though they've got that one coming, Marvel Heroes not thinking they're going to see anything there from that event. And then finally, whether or not we see anything new from Disney, because this is where it's like it really feels like the gap is in the market where they have there's just nothing. There's just nothing on the horizon console-wise for them at all.
No, Disney properties, Mickey, Donald, Goofy, etc., we don't really know what's going on with them. I'm sure they've got something in the works, but most of their Disney stuff has been focused on purely mobile experiences, and you might get an announcement about mobile stuff, like we had Contest of Champions and Future Fight have shown up at events and whatnot, but yeah, and honestly, while there is a market for Disney games, they really don't need to push them at conventions like this because their market are people who don't care. These conventions are for hardcore gamers looking for updates on the Call of Duty franchises, Lord of War, or Shadow of War, sorry, Battlefront 2, all the franchises that are coming out, Assassin's Creed and whatnot. And while they might enjoy a little Disney announcement, maybe they can justify bringing their kid or something like that. Yeah. This isn't really the place where you're going to see a Disney event.
I mean, there's a lot of European companies working on projects and stuff, I'm sure of it. We've seen like the Phileas and Ferb game that came out a couple of years ago on the Vita. That was made over a team in Spain. Ninja Theory as well, the UK team, obviously the new Hellblade, which I'm really tempted to pick up. But it's Sonic Mania this week. There's lots of different teams, and I'm surprised that we're not seeing a little bit more of as they've been talking about a lot of buzz lately about AA games like Cars 3 is a prime example of what I would consider that to be, where Disney haven't really, and it wouldn't surprise me if we had something Christmas out, maybe because we've not even had any 3DS games. There's no Switch ports. Maybe even something from Capcom. It just feels like there's just this big almighty gap between. It feels like between Cars 3 and Kingdom Hearts 3. That sounds like it could be a big gap. So I'm sure there must be something. We don't know what Avalanche are doing, but again, Gamescom, I'm not thinking is the right time for them to. Nowadays, with streaming and YouTube and press releases, a game can just be announced just like that. You just never know when, and they don't need to be at these events and things. But hopefully, we'll see something else from Gamescom. The main thing coming out of Gamescom, by the looks of it, is going to be lots more information about the Xbox One X. Yeah, whatever.
I love my Xbox, and we've talked about this. It's just this iteration concept for consoles. I'm not buying into it. But if you don't have an Xbox One and you want an Xbox One, you might as well just wait for the Xbox One X at this point. So.
Yes. So on that note, guys, we'd love to know your predictions for Gamescom. What do you think? What are you hoping for? Love to know all of that in the comments below. As per usual, check us out over at DisKingdom.com. You can also find us on all the different social medias. Hit that subscribe button, hit that like button specifically as well. And also just a quick reminder, this month our giveaway is a $20 sort of online voucher for either PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, Steam, or Android or iTunes. Gonna get it out, so depending on whatever you want to play. So you can get yourself some gems, you can get yourself anything you want on that one there. So definitely find that over at thisgaming.com/giveaway. On that note, where can they find you, James?
I'm a heroiclegacy.com.
And you can find us over at This Gaming. I'll see you later, guys.
Later.